Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and thank you for joining me for another Budget With Me video, this time budgeting out my paychecks for the month of September. I get paid every other week and I get paid on Fridays, and September is one of those months that it starts on a Friday that I get paid and it has 5 other Fridays in the month. Therefore, I'm going to be getting 3 paychecks, which is
sweet.
The other interesting thing that's starting this month but it's going to be affecting my budget next month is that I am starting my side hustle income job tomorrow. As many of you know, I've talked about in the past how I'm an occupational therapist and I work in home health care, but I also work per diem for the local school district, working with kids and doing occupational therapy with them. I'm actually going to be having more visits per week, which will in turn mean more income once the paychecks start coming around. Just a reminder, those paychecks come on a monthly basis, and they typically come the month after you have completed your visits. So for me, I'm not going to be getting paid for that until next month. But let's go ahead and start punching in the numbers for my first paycheck for the month of September. Now that I have my budget spreadsheet pulled up, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is that I have corrected the income column. As I already stated, I'm going to be having 3 paychecks this month, which is awesome. I plan for each of those to be an average of $2,100. It's always nice to see more, but let's go ahead and first look at the first paycheck, this paycheck number 1. I was paid last Friday and received my first paycheck, which was a total amount of, drum roll please, $2,376.10. Nice. So my spreadsheet, if you don't already know, it spits out what the difference is. So this is the planned income column over here. I plan for $2,100. When the actual is more, like it is in this case, it's going to show the difference being $276.10 more than what I thought I was going to make, which is good. I like that. It's always good to get more money than you think you're going to be making. I obviously cannot fill out my paycheck 2 and 3 yet because I don't know what they are. But thankfully, I have a feeling, this gut feeling, that this month I'm going to be having paychecks that are hopefully over the planned expense, just with kind of how busy I've been and with having a holiday week and still being busy on top of having a holiday week. It just typically, if you have multiple back-to-back weeks of being busy, you typically can expect a higher paycheck. Also, as stated earlier, I'm not going to be having any side hustle income come in yet, but I am starting to work for my side hustle job. In fact, I think I have 2 visits to see with kids tomorrow. So, exciting news there. I also don't think I'm going to be getting any form of miscellaneous money this month, which is fine because I have 3 paychecks to cover all my expenses. So if we take a look here at the total income column, before we move on to anything else, this month I should hopefully get at least $6,300 in total income, which is a lot in comparison to my other months. That's an extra $2,100 on top of what I typically plan to receive. Let's see how things pan out this month with my income and see if I meet that $6,300. The next column that we're going to move on to is this blue portion of the spreadsheet. As you guys can see, I wrote pay yourself. This is something that I'm trying to take more seriously and be more devout in doing, meaning you're putting aside money to contribute towards retirement or your future or some type of financial goal that you are trying to receive before it goes to mortgage, groceries, water, gas, electric, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I have this listed here above expenses, is just to remind myself to continue to pay myself first. I've been able to do this now, I think, for 2 months consistently, and it's been nice. It's nice to see these assets grow. So let's hopefully continue to see them grow. If we look at the first item listed under Pay Yourself, you will see it says Saved Payments. Government student loans are in deferment. I am not actively paying on them. I'm putting them into a high yield savings account, and I try to put $3,000 towards that account every month. I've been able to do it consistently since April, and last month I hit my 5-month goal of being able to save right here $15,000 since finishing off my private student loans back in April. My goal is to continue to put aside $3,000 until the beginning of next year, which I think is when the deferment is supposed to end. Long story short, I have not actually put aside any money this month towards my safe payments. Nothing yet in the actual column for any of the pay yourself categories yet. So I guess in all reality, I haven't paid myself first yet, but I have received a paycheck. I'll get around to it, don't worry. Moving on next to the expense column. This is the red column down here with the targets. So paying myself, that was what we just talked about. I haven't done that yet, so I have to leave that at 0. I put this in and lump it in with expenses because technically it has to come out of my paychecks to pay myself. That's why it's here in expenses, in case you're wondering, and it just helps me keep tabs on where my money's going. All right, so mortgage is what it always is, which is $1,059. We already knew that, so nothing new there. Groceries, actually no update on groceries. I don't think we bought groceries yet this month. I could be totally wrong, but I don't believe. I just paid off my credit cards and I didn't see anything so far this month in groceries in this column. So I'm going to leave that at 0. Just as an update of something I talked about in last month's, the month of August budget with me, you find out your bad habits through budgeting. I have a bad habit of stopping in at Dollar General and just kind of buying a bunch of snacks and stuff throughout the week, which really racked up my grocery budget price, even though I don't consider those groceries. So I had to be honest last month and say I was closer to $400 in the actual expense column for groceries. My goal this month is to not give in to those cravings. I almost did it today. I almost did it. I was so close to stopping in at Dollar General and buying like a couple protein bars and a Slim Jim or a drink, but I forgot my wallet at the house, so I couldn't do that. All right, moving on down the list to water, and this month is a non-billable month for water. It comes every other month. Last month, I did find out that it was around $60, which was more than my planned expense. It's the first time I've ever had water go over the planned expense, and I think the reason why that is because I had a garden hose that was a leaky one, but I remember there being like 2 to 3 days where I left it on like overnight and came out the next day and there was kind of water everywhere, and I'm like, what's going on here? Why is there so much water? Then I'm like, oh shoot, this thing leaks and the faucet was left on. I got a new one and I'm trying to be better at not leaving the water on even though it isn't leaky, so that I don't waste money on water that I'm not even using. Next on the list is gas, and this month I have purchased only 1 tank of gas so far for my car, which I think was the first time ever filling up my vehicle in several months where I went from like almost empty to full, and it was less than $50 for the fill up. I think it was just under. I think it was like $48 or $49. So it's nice to see gas is slightly coming down. It's still not cheap. Takes a big burden off the budget when gas is cheaper. I know you guys are probably dying for an update to know what my phone is and how much that cost me. I don't know. It's been 3 months. I think my aunt is just paying it. I think that's what she normally does. She just pays it and then we kind of reimburse her. Kind of have been on her heels about it. But I can't call. It's a little bit frustrating, but I can't call because I'm not an account manager or administrator, which you have to be one of those two things to have any access to payment history, anything like that. So I'm just in limbo with what my phone bill should be. I do remember when I purchased the phone at the Verizon store and did all the work to get my bill lowered there, she told me that my bill would be somewhere around like $70. I'm going to put that in as like the planned expense as $70. But here's the thing, I don't 100% know if that's my new bill. That'd be really cool because obviously that would be over a $30 difference from what I was paying. But I don't know yet, and there isn't really a way for me to find out unless you guys know a way for me to find out how much I actually owe. Leave it in the comments if you have suggestions on that. But like I said, I can't do anything right now because I'm not the account manager. I have to rely on somebody else to make that phone call and find out that information for me. My internet bill is once again still $49.99. This has not come out of the credit card that's linked to it yet, so I'm going to leave that blank for the actual. I try to leave it blank until it is officially paid for. That way I don't get confused. Car insurance, that gets deducted on the 19th of the month, so we're going to leave that blank. They do send out an alert, and it's right around that $112, so nothing's changing there, which is, I guess, good. No change, I guess, is a good thing. It was $107, and it went up by $5, which isn't a huge deal. It's always a good idea to call and see if maybe you can get the price down, if there's some type of benefit that you're missing out on. I went for a full year without knowing that I had benefits that would reduce my car insurance. So don't be like me, don't do that. And then student loan is obviously $3,000 because that's part of this whole pay myself. Put aside $3,000 towards my saved payments for my student loans, and then contribute that once the time is come due. Now, there was one item on here I skipped over, and some of you may be commenting already that you skipped over your electric bill. I know. I actually did that by mistake, but it works out perfectly. I got the bill from good old NYSEG about my electric bill, and it was $300. Now, I know for some of you that might be normal, but for me, that is way above what I typically pay for gas and electric. And I know they try to base it off of estimates of what you could be spending, and nowhere have I ever spent that much gas or electric that it would ring up the bill that high. So I don't know where they get off and these estimates. I've heard, though, that all you have to do is call, and then you can do a meter reading yourself over the phone, and they can double check to make sure that what you're paying is actually what is due. So I need to do that. I'm just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I know contacting the electric company is one of the longest wait times on a phone that you'll ever have to do. So I'm trying to, I guess, plan for a time when I really have nothing else to do and then making that call. So it's like $298 this month. So I'm going to change it, and hopefully, guys, by the time the next Budget With Me update rolls around for this month, that number is considerably lower. Fingers crossed, guys. All right, so that now officially does wrap up the expense column. And if we look, my total expenses this month so far is going to be $5,514.99, which isn't too bad. I think these numbers are actually correct. If the planned expense is actually this amount, remember, this is what I plan for it to be. And this number is all of this added up, and the number underneath it, the net income, is what it would be if this number, if I get a total planned income and subtract from that my total expenses. It would be a profit of $785.01. So we will see how things plan out this month with my income. I'm really hoping, and I have a good feeling, that my paychecks are going to be considerably higher, at least above average. Fingers crossed for that, because I have been a lot busier at work and seeing a lot of patients and doing a lot of bigger visits, which are weighted heavier. They give you more pay for doing them, so I've been busier, just long story short there. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any further updates, like the next Budget With Me update that's going to be coming out once my second paycheck for the month of September gets paid to me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.